The rate you pay for your Tesla Model Y charging can vary massively, and that's why I'm going to show you how to pay the lowest prices, whether you charge from home or on the go. Remember when you drove your old petrol motor and you deliberately drove past 2 or 3 different petrol stations, all in the interest of saving yourself just a couple of extra pennies per litre or gallon just for some back pocket change? Well, savings on charging costs for your Tesla Model Y or Tesla EV is the very same, but different. Most of the time, you don't even have to leave the sofa to obtain bargain bucket charging because, spoiler alert, wherever you can, you want to be charging from home, as it will not only be the most convenient way to charge, but typically it's the cheapest. However, that's not always the case, as I do have some stealthy tricks up my sleeve that I use myself and will be super useful for those that use frequent rapid chargers or supercharging. Whilst this video will look at how to save money on home charging, as that is by far the most popular way to charge, the very aim of this video is for you to understand how you could maximise your own unique EV charging costs, whichever way you charge. That's the goal. Therefore, whether you are new to Tesla ownership or if you are an existing owner wanting to make sure that you are maximising your own savings from charging, this video should very much be for you. So if this video sounds like an interesting insight, buckle up, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and finally do hit that notification bell. Right, let's get deep into this one. So kickstarting with the all-important question of how much can you actually save on Tesla charging costs? Well, straight into the thick of it, what a better way to actually answer than to show you my own receipts. So I'll pop on the screen the month of July and August, for which you will see in real terms my EV charging costs for these 2 months, but also the petrol equivalent costs for me. The difference is like chicken feed. The savings alone contribute to half of my monthly car payment. It's a tenfold difference. That's down to me maximising the savings on both home and public charging. Now with my charging, you can see in these months, I have a 90 to 10 split between home charging and supercharging, but a full disclaimer, this is not your typical cost savings. I've already maximised mine without installing solar PV. But you can still achieve this, so much so the saving methods I've achieved can be obtained by you if you're willing to seek the savings that I'm about to show you. So starting from the very start, if you are totally new to EVs, how much does it cost to charge the Tesla Model Y from home, and how can you achieve similar cost savings to me? So if you were to charge your Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive from 0 to 100% from home, which you wouldn't normally do because in real-world conditions, it's more of your incremental top-ups like 80 to 100% or 60 to 100%, etc. But let's say in a worst-case scenario, 0 to 100%, the UK's SVR, being the standard variable rate, from the 1st of October to the 1st of January is going to be 24.5p per kilowatt hours of energy. And with the Tesla Model Y having a 60 kilowatt hour battery, napkin maths would put that cost at £14.70. But that's the worst case. And the worst case if you're going to take the lazier option of not seeking any further savings, for which by default, the rate you could be paying for the Tesla Model Y is going to be this. But with just a few small changes, you could be paying over 3.5 times less. Plus, I'll let you into an open secret on how you could get yourself some free charging sessions. Without any free charging sessions thrown in though, the same 0 to 100% charging session can then therefore total £4.20. An interesting round number at that. But this is the textbook EV equivalent of driving 2 or 3 miles down the road to save yourself a few pennies off a litre. Except this is going to be worth a lot more than a few pennies. Clearly, it's over a £10 saving in total per full charge. So now you're thinking, Adam, how are you achieving these savings? Well, I'll let you into this open secret, and that is utilising the variety of EV-focused electrical tariffs. And these are domestic utility tariffs that will offer you rates that are vastly cheaper than the standard variable rate that I mentioned earlier. For example, here is a table that I found online from GoCompare for a quick visual reference. And these unique electric tariffs now open your charging costs to a low range of choice of just 7p to 7.5p. However, this table is from June 2024 and are subject to change. but for 1 kilowatt hour of electricity, it's going to cost you a whopping 3.5 times less. And unlike petrol, where the quality of fuel varies at the same time, with electricity, you know, there's no non-premium electric, etc. It's just literally all the same. Just you're paying a dramatically lower price. So Adam, what's the catch before you tell us your tariff of choice? Well, being completely honest, there's a few points that you do need to know before getting ahead of yourself. So the first being, depending on which provider or tariff that you do opt for, the reason you are getting these cheaper rates to charge your EV is because you are encouraged to charge your car outside of typical peak times for electric usage, and that's mainly during the daytime. Further to that, your charging session is then likely to be overnight and into the early hours of the morning. This could also mean that your electricity rates outside of these nominated non-peak slots can be as high, if not higher, than the usual SVR rate of 24.5 pence. However, depending on the tariff that you use and my EV tariff of choice, this cheap rate can actually be used for your whole household, and it's not exclusive to the car. So you can bang on the dishwasher or even your washing machine for a cheeky cheap session, for which now we're entering a whole different ballgame of lowering your electricity bills, but that's a different matter for a different time. But to round up the so-called catches before confirming a tariff, effectively these EV tariffs all offer different time slots to charge. Some are more smarter than others. Some offer typically cheaper non-peak or maybe cheaper peak rates than its rivals. And they're literally just all trying to sort of one-up each other on the different rates that they charge. But these tariffs, they do change frequently, but there is one that consistently sticks out for me. So the energy provider and EV tariff that's been my favorite for the past couple of years now has been Octopus and their intelligent tariff. And I was actually on their Go tariff back in 2020 before I then upgraded in 2022, for which changed it all for the better. So why is this my tariff of choice? Firstly, its cheap rate is one of, if not the cheapest at the time of the video, at 7 pence per kilowatt hour. And their nominated off-peak periods is one of the longest at 6 hours. I mentioned it earlier in the video, Octopus allowed this cheap rate for the whole household too, and not just exclusively to your EV charging, as some others do try to sneakily avoid passing the more cost savings onto you and I. The 6-hour cheap window can also be extended depending on your charging requirements for that day. Long story short, via the Octopus app, you actually state the level of charge and the time that you need it by, and it will actually just work out when it's the cheapest on the grid to do so. And even if it's actually outside the 6-hour window, that's already non-negotiable and guaranteed every day, which means extra cheap electricity for the whole household too, if you nab an extra off-peak time slot. Plus, the day rate is only going to be marginally more expensive than the SVR rate. But due to my own off-peak energy shifting, my actual household average is more like 12 pence. And did I also mention that Octopus grant the occasional free hour of excess electrical usage, aka a possible 3-hour charging? But before I round up the reasons why I like this tariff so much, is for one other reason that's not really price dependent, but super important, and that is the fact that their customer service for a utility provider is probably one of the best that I've encountered. Any issues that I've previously had, I've just messaged them on X and they were very responsive. Even over the phone, you do get a quick response time, and they're pretty friendly from the interactions that I've had at least. As truth be said, I have encountered the odd issue here and there, like not getting monthly bills like I wanted to, and my smart meter broke at some point, which is actually a requirement for the tariffs, by the way. But credit due where deserved, they sorted me out with a new smart meter tariff with minimal stress. So not only have I found them to be price competitive, they don't seem to have sacrificed their customer service at the expense of a competitively priced tariff. A worthy mention before we move on to other methods of charging cost savings is that they also run a cool little reward page for which I get more than my fair share of free coffee every week. And that's instantly a £3.50 saving each week if I redeem it. And they also offer £50 to new customers if you use a referral link, for which, as I've mentioned this to you, my referral link is in the video description, for which I'll get £50 if you sign up for a full disclosure. Click the link, take a look at the intelligent tariff, see if it makes sense for you and your household. But honestly, this is one of the driving factors for low cost home charging, and it's one that anyone can do in the very same boat as me. But what about supercharging and public charging? Well, of course, I've got you covered here too. So if you are going to be dependent on supercharging or the public charging network, there are a number of different methods that you can use to lower your charging costs. Starting exclusively with the Tesla supercharging network, if you actually take a look at their charging rates, each site actually vary their rates depending on its own peak and non-peak charging times. However, if you do take a look at their site of interest just prior to visiting, just by charging in their non-peak window, that's an easy way that you can actually lower your costs. Not quite as big a saving as via home charging, but it's going to be significant enough to make it a worthy tip. And it's worth sharing if your charging isn't time sensitive. That said, there is an even bigger tip that does actually top home charging, and that is free supercharging credit. Now, if you are a Tesla owner, if you use your referral link found in your Tesla app and you successfully refer a Tesla to a friend, congratulations. You can then officially exchange £500 or $500 worth of Tesla credit into free supercharger mileage, for which supercharging somehow feels better when the road trip is going to be free, right? For me, my supercharging was free not because of the referrals that I've achieved, but because my Tesla came with 15,000 free supercharger miles. But any Tesla owner within a participating country can still achieve £500 or $500 worth of free Tesla credit by referring a Tesla to a friend. And if you don't want to do that, you can still stick to that non-peak times to help lower your overall charging costs. And when it comes to alternative providers, the advertised public rate isn't always the best rate that they are offering to the public. There are a variety of different programs, some exclusive to different vehicle manufacturers and some not. However, if you are aware of Octopus Electroverse in the UK, this is just one way to make third-party public charging quicker and easier to initiate, but you can also obtain preferential rates just by initiating the charge with the Electroverse app. Therefore, do take a look at that service to help reduce the cost incurred on these third-party charges, and I'm sure there are probably others around in the market too. Finally, an option that you may have overlooked compared to home charging and supercharging that could be even better is actually charging from your place of work. Sometimes, just sometimes, your place of work is generous enough to offer you free charging from work. And if they have a full wall charger setup, you could potentially have a full state of charge when your shift is over with no further costs incurred to you. And it's probably wise then not to share your charging hack around with your colleagues, as sometimes those parking spaces with charging may be limited. Ultimately, there's something quite satisfying knowing that the charging sessions have come out of your boss's pocket and not your own. So to conclude, I've shared how you can lower your Tesla Model Y charging costs, not only from home, but also if you are supercharging or you're using a third-party charging provider. I've also shared some of the very best tips on achieving free supercharging sessions too, whether that be from home, at work, or at the supercharger. So there you have it. This is how you can save even more money charging your Tesla EV. And you mustn't forget that if you are opting for the Octopus Intelligent Tariff, don't forget to use a referral link like mine in the description of the video, as we can actually share £100 credit just by you using the link. If you prefer to do things the old school way and you like to pick up the phone with Octopus, you just need to quote that you want to use a referral with the operator. Then you must quote a unique Octopus referral name. And for me, that's going to be RiverGull450. That's RiverGull450. And this will also be detailed in the description of the video for your future reference too. So there we go. I hope this has been insightful into electric car charging economics and how you can achieve similar cost savings to me. If it was helpful, let me know in the comment section below. And if it wasn't, or if you have your very own charging cost hack that you're gatekeeping, drop it in the comment section below, as we all want to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video with any friends or any group that may find the video beneficial. Do check out the links in the video description of the video too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.